Here's a question that comes up a lot. If that 80-10-10 fruit bat, monkey, gorilla, chimp, bonobo diet was so natural, how come there's such a high importance of counting calories? How come you have to count calories? You know what I mean? But monkeys don't count calories, horses don't count calories. How come all you fruit bats have to count calories? That's not natural. Counting calories ain't natural, mate. I'll tell you what, counting calories, it isn't natural. You're right. So why do other people say count your calories? Why is it called 80-10-10, the book Doug wrote? If it's so natural, why do we need a book to describe it? That's a great question. We all live in such a crazy society, this whole eat less, eat less. Like Michael Pollan, he's like the #1 foodie author on the planet in terms of books sold. And his whole philosophy is eat less, eat less. So people have got this whole eat less mentality in their head. So when they come over to fruits and vegetables, they've got this eat less. They look at a bowl of bananas and they're like, eat less, eat less. So they have 2 or 3 bananas and go, oh, I'm full, yes, I'm full. You know what I mean? They're not full. You know, they think they're full, but physiologically they've had 200 or 300 calories. A grown adult is not going to be full on 200 or 300 calories. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen unless you're sick or you've got a fever or you've just had a 2,000 calorie meal. Maybe then you'll be full from 200 calorie snack. Does that make sense? So we recommend caloric intake so people can gauge what they're consuming versus just going by feel. That's great later on, but initially you need to count calories so you get enough. You're not going to get too much. You're not going to get too much fruit, man. It is physiologically impossible to get fat on fruit. I mean fat. I don't mean a few pounds, a bit sloppy and floppy because you're not training enough. I mean fat. You know what I mean? Big boy. You know, I mean like big, like you've been doing this for 10, 15 years and you're fat, then that's, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about 2 or 3 years, you knew your weight's going up and down, you've come back from anorexia, so your weight's flying around, or you used to weigh 400 pounds and you're down to 300 and 200. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you're doing this for at least 5 years consistently, fruits, vegetables, raw, vegan, low fat, high carb. You're not going to get fat. Physiologically impossible, period, end of story. You're going to get fat on fruit like a horse can get fat on grass. You're going to get fat on fruit like a shark can get fat on seals. Ever seen an obese shark? Ever seen an obese horse? Me either. Doesn't happen. Ever seen an obese fruit bat, fruitarian, raw vegan, blah, blah, blah? Never happens. Can't happen. Physiologically impossible. Prove me wrong. $10,000 reward for you. Check out my website. Anyway, so as an analogy of counting calories, I get all the time people say, oh, I don't want to count calories, that's inconvenient. I'll tell you what, you know, eating crap because you're so freaking hungry because you've under-eaten calories, that's inconvenient. You know, putting on the weight because you're eating this crap, that's inconvenient. Getting sick because you're eating this crap, that's inconvenient. Training for a race for 6 months and getting dropped when you should be dropping other people because you're under-carb, that's inconvenient. You know, freaking out at your partner because you're under-carb, that's inconvenient. You know, not being able to keep up with your kids because you're under-carb, that's inconvenient. Counting calories, grade 2 maths, that's fucking easy. Here's an analogy. This is a bike pump. So this is a bicycle wheel. It goes in the front of the bike. So I get people who say, oh, I don't want to, count calories. That's too much stuff. But I go, do you count your pressure on your tyres? Oh, yeah. Do you just go by feel? I mean, maybe you can do that if you're really experienced, but initially, like calories, you got to count them until you understand how much is enough. So if I said to someone, pump up your bike tyre, that's like saying, eat enough calories, eat till you're full. I mean, it's vague advice at best. But it's in the right direction, but it's still vague advice. If I say, pump up your tyres, if I give this bike wheel to 10 different people, people with experience will pump right up to the right pressure. People inexperienced will put a few pumps in there and go, oh, that's enough, isn't it? You know, this tyre is so hard, it's about 120 psi in there. Most people think there's not even a tube in there. So you get to the average person and pump it up, they won't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's why on bike pumps, on good bike pumps, we have a gauge. So I don't know if you can see that. See all the numbers on there? So that's like counting calories, is having numbers on your pump. So if you're inexperienced, you know exactly how much you're getting. So when someone says to you, that tyre's too hard, you got too much air in there, you can go, no, have a look at this. The tyre says 120 psi and the pump says 120 psi. No problems, not too much air. And that way you have no self-doubt. So when you're having a meal of 10, 15, 30 bananas, and someone goes, that's too much fruit, and they're eating a Big Mac of, 1,000 calories with the Coke and the fries and the chips and half a dead chicken and half a cow, and they're going, oh, you're eating too much fruit. You can say, well, actually, I'm having about 1,000 calories here, my 10 banana meal, and you're having about 5,000 calories. So if anyone's eating too much calories, it's you. But not all calories are equal. It's not how much we eat, it's what we eat. Nobody's going to get fat on 5,000 calories of fruit, but you'll definitely get your fat ass on 5,000 calories of dead animals. Just look at society today. The people obese because they're eating too many bananas, mangoes, grapes, cherries, apricots, watermelons, zucchinis? No, they're fat because they're eating chickens, cows, horses, dogs, rats, cats, and pigs. And they're slapping the pounds on more and more and more. And they're saying, oh, you got to eat more fat to burn more fat. That's like saying you got to put more fire to put the fire out. Insane. Eat more carbs. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. The carbs you eat becomes the glycogen you get to live every day with. You get to think with, read with, have sex with, dance with, look after your kids with, do sport with, contribute with, speak passionately with, do the gardening, whatever with. Glycogen is your friend. Glycogen helps you burn more fat. Look it up in your medical physiology textbook and forget listening to has everyone wondered why Sally Fallon's fat, Dr. Kendrick's fat, Dr. Atkins' fat? Actually, he's dead from a heart attack. The Zone Diet, Barry Spears, he's fat. McCullough's getting fat. David Wolf's fat. Daniel Vitalis is fat. All these people fat. Nice people, though. Just because you're fat doesn't mean you're bad. My mum, she's 60. She's out of weight, out of shape. Looks like Daniel Vitalis, David Wolf. Great person. I love my mum. I'm just saying, take advice from people getting the drug-free results you desire. Don't take fat advice from fat people. Don't take sport advice from people who can't even run in a block of pace. Does that make sense? Be careful who you take information from. So getting back to counting calories, this is why you need to count enough calories. So when those jokers get up on stage and say, that's too much fruit, you can't eat too much fruit, you've got to buy more of my superfood, deer placenta, colostrum, make bone broth, drink up bone broth. Because bananas aren't natural, but getting bones from an animal, snapping them, putting them in a metal pot, cooking them up, that's natural. But bananas, they're not natural. Mangoes, that's not natural. If your kid wants to eat fruit, that kid's got a problem. If you put a 2-year-old toddler in a cot with a banana and a puppy, is it going to eat the puppy? Is that natural? Or is it naturally going to eat the banana? You know what I mean? All these people say, oh, there's no examples of vegan cultures and tribes. It's like, there's no examples of 2-year-olds eating puppies on the planet. There's no example of a kid walking up to a big crab and biting it like a 2-year-old puppy or a 2-year-old dog would, or a 2-year-old wolverine would, or a 2-year-old bear would. There's no vegan tribes, Harley. There's no tribes that didn't have murder, rape, violence, hatred, hierarchy. Does that mean we should continue that? There's no tribes on the planet that didn't have some form of cannibalism in them. Isn't that convenient how people cherry pick the information? Oh, there's no vegan tribes. That means I can have my burger, fries, Coke, bison burger. It's local organic. It's the same nutrition content as a Big Mac, but it's local organic. Sally Fallon said it's okay. Weston A. Price said it's okay, didn't he? You know what I mean? It's crazy. I make fun of these people, not because I think they're evil, devil, conspiracy, whatever. I just want to highlight the flaws, how they cherry pick information, how they're out of shape, firstly. I mean, some people say, oh, they're out of shape because they're like spiritually got full of ormus and the ormus expands you and that's how it is. They're like beyond, because if you're fit and strong and lean, that means you're tense and, oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, here's my MasterCard. Can you give me some superfood canisters of goodness that might help my thinking better? I'll tell you what, all you need is get sufficient amount of calories from your favourite fruits. Start with 3,000 calories a day. Oh my God, 3,000 calories a day, that's too much food, Harley. I've got anorexia, I've got, Michael Pollan disease, calorie phobia. I've been conditioned my whole life that carbs are bad, fruit's bad, too much simple sugars make you fat. Do I look fat? You know what I mean? Does any of us look fat? Fat? Obese fat? You know what I mean? No way. No way. So again, it's, people say, oh, but these people don't exercise and you guys exercise. It's like, these people are promoting health and they don't exercise. That's like promoting building safe houses and forgetting concrete foundations. That's like building houses for safety, making them out of straw in a cyclone area. That's like building houses in a flood zone that don't have any drainage. It's just insanity. Promoting health without a fitness background, without promoting fundamental fitness tips. You know, that's just crazy. That's how poor our health scene is at the moment. I mean, it's so poor, people can't even pay attention to the flaws that these gurus have. You know, they're wearing ponchos to hide up their stomach, and they're saying, fruit will make you fat, but don't ask me to lift up my poncho. You know, have more bone broth because you can't be a vegan because you run out of protein. But I'm not aware of any vegan bodybuilders on the planet. Veganbodybuilding.com, veganstrength.org. So anyway, so count your calories so you get enough. You know, I've trained with some of the top cyclists on the planet, the fastest cyclists on the planet, and I've asked them, the majority of them, the ones who are approachable, I've asked them about calories, and the difference is between those guys and the other people, those girls and the other girls, they know how to get enough calories. They can objectively say, yeah, I eat 1 gram of carbs per kilo when I'm out training, or I eat 10 grams of carbs per kilo body weight per day, or I eat 5 grams per pound of body weight per day. You know what I mean? These people know that's the difference. You walk into a good mechanic in a bike shop, they're going to use torque wrenches. You know what I mean? A torque wrench is a little spanner, and it stops spinning when you get a certain amount of torque on there. So it's objectifying something. Objective. Subjective is, I went for a run today. Objective is, I ran 10 kilometers today. It took me 42 minutes and 30 seconds. That's objective. By being objective of our calories, we can go, oh, that's where I made a mistake. I only ate 1,500 calories today. I need like 3,000, 5,000. And I had 1,500 calories today. No wonder I'm feeling emotional. You know, people undereat. They get emotional, then they eat. And they say, I'm an emotional eater. Come on. You know, when you objectively know you're getting enough calories by counting them, so you know. Again, it's not about counting calories for weight loss. It's about counting calories for life gain. And that equates to fat loss. You know, count calories so you can eat more to live more. Don't count calories, go, well, I've had enough now, I can't eat any more. I'm hungry still, but I can't eat any more. You know, fuck that, man. Eat enough calories so you're full. Eat enough calories, your favourite sweet fruit. You don't want anything else. You know, if you want raw cacao bars, you're not eating enough fruit. Simple as that. So that's the thing. People, you know, go on these raw food things, and then they get slammed off the wagon. They think that's because they don't have enough discipline or whatever. I'll tell you what, it's just calories, man. It's that simple. Sometimes the solutions are so simple, people are shocked at the answer. Shocked at the answer. I can't eat enough calories, Harley. I've spent $10,000 at the Tree of Strife, and I did the Kundalini balancing course and everything, and no, it's not that. It's not that. The weight's just pouring on me because I'm binging on ice cream and, you know, burgers, and no, it's not because of the calories. It's just because when I was a kid, you know, I didn't do a rebirthing program properly, and I got to jump in a tub full of cane toads and mud and rebirth my crystals. That's what I got to do, Harley. I tell you what, you don't have to, man. Get enough calories. Read the book 80-10-10. My advice is 3,000 calories plus. If you've got kids, you need more calories. If you've got weight to carry around, you need more calories. If you've got a business to run, you need more calories. If you've got employees, you need more calories. If your boss is a wanker, you need more calories. If you exercise, you need more calories. If you want to exercise, you need more calories. You want to build muscle, you need more calories. You want to get lean, fit and strong, you need more calories. You want to live a life of purpose, contribution, passion and noble pursuits, you need more calories. Fruit's your friend. Eat enough. Be objective. Count your calories. So when someone says, oh, you know, I tried that raw food thing and it didn't work for me. I had no energy. I had head spins. I collapsed on the floor at work. You know, it just doesn't work. It's dangerous. You can say, how many calories a day were you eating? Oh, I was just eating heaps. I mean, all my colleagues were saying, oh, I was eating too much fruit. No, I didn't ask that question. I said, how many calories a day were you eating? Oh, plenty. I mean, it cost me so much money and, you know, I was just so full. How many calories were you eating? Oh, like plenty. I mean, I just felt bloated and I was just getting so much fruit. I've never eaten so much fruit in my life. How many calories are you getting? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's like you ringing up the mechanics and go, oh, my car's broken down. Can you come out and fix it? And they're like, oh, how much fuel's in the tank? Oh, plenty. I put plenty in. How much did you put in? Oh, heaps. You know, it cost me a lot of money. How much fuel did you put in? I don't really know. Is there a possibility that your fuel tank's empty? Yes, it is. You know what I mean? It's those little simple things. So when raw food gurus say, oh, I tried that raw food thing and I went down 100 pounds and I couldn't lift a weight and I couldn't run, they did it wrong. They were not getting enough calories. If you're doing raw foods right, you should be setting personal best in your physical performance, man. You should be the fittest of your drug-free sporting career. Definitely. Definitely, without question. You know, you should have amazing blood results, definitely. You know, if you're running into, you know, chronic fatigue or things like that, you're definitely not getting enough calories, man. If you're getting so emaciated, you're wasting away. If your strength is dropping, you are not getting enough carbohydrate, calories, period. Things like that. If you can't sleep properly, you're not getting enough calories. So that's why it's good to learn how many calories you need. At least 3,000 calories a day for adults. And anyone who says that's too much, I'll tell you what, you're just not living the potential that you could be living. You're not giving your family the love they could be getting. You're not living at the intensity you could be living at. You're not being able to give you that. People go, oh, you don't know me, I'm doing great. I'm like, yeah, you're doing great, you could be doing greater. That's the little thing we want to think about. It's like the tyre analogy before. Oh, I pump my tyres up, they're good enough. Are they really? How do you know? Oh, well, because it's good, I had a good bike race. You could be going better. Use numbers for your assistance, you know what I mean? This whole thing, oh, there's no numbers in nature. That's right, there's no conditioning in nature, there's no dogma from the eat less camp in nature, there's no paranoia in nature, it's just carbohydrates, fruits are in nature, there's no stoves in nature. All these people saying that raw foods isn't natural, it's like, where's the stoves in nature, man? So when people stuff up, ask them, or if you stuffed up, ask yourself, how many calories was I really eating? And if you don't have a clue, and you've studied nutrition, and you're like a Chinese traditional master, or whatever, you know what I mean? If you're an Ayurveda expert, or if you're a body type, whatever, type person, and you don't know how many calories you're getting, you know what I mean? Ask the gurus, man. Ask them, and don't let them up until they answer your question objectively, clearly, common sense, makes sense. A lot of gurus, when you ask them these questions, they get up on stage and they give you some spiritual woo-woo bullshit. They never really answer your question, they dance around it. So bring them back and say, hey, you didn't answer my question. Be rude if you have to. Be rude. If they're going to answer your question and they're the guru and you've paid a lot of money to come to their talk, then they're being ruder by not answering the question. You're asking a polite question, how many calories a day do you get and what does it look like? And write it down while they're talking and then do the math. And then you'll see how full of crap they really are. So that's a paradigm, a whole new paradigm people have. So be writing your food down. Food diaries are great. Have a food diary for a week. Just write down what you've eaten. Learn the basic calories, you know what I mean? It's just basic, it's grade 2 maths. If I had a bunch of 6 or 7 or 8-year-olds, I could teach them calories, you know what I mean? I've talked to some of the raw food gurus out there. I've asked them, how many calories in a banana? Once I asked John Fielder, John, how many calories in a banana? And he looked at me like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is like one of the top people in Australia for raw food and natural hygiene, and the dude didn't even know how many calories in a banana. No wonder people just can't succeed on the programs he writes, because they're freaking starvation programs. You want to starve yourself? I mean, read Dave Wolf's book, Sun Food Diet Success System, and there's not even mention of how many calories you need a day. You know what I mean? It's like just some spiritual prana BS, craziness. So that's what I like about Doug Graham's book, 80-10-10. It actually gives you the caloric breakdown. I remember when I first started working with Doug, 6-7 years ago, Doug always said, count your calories. And in my head, I'm like, I ain't counting calories. I ain't no Jenny Craig freaking customer, man. I know my body. I eat when I'm hungry. And so my performances would just be yo-yoing up and down. I'd have really cracker performances, just like blistering, have good fun and that. Just like blistering performances. And then, boom, next week or next day, I was just down here. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then, I thought, well, when we put gas in the car tank, we count how much is going in. So why shouldn't I count how much is going in so I can go the distance? So I started learning about calories, and I had an aha moment. And then I started looking at all the raw food gurus around who are struggling to be raw or vegan or athletic, and I realised none of them know how to eat enough calories, and the ones who do, they're still fruit phobic. They're still scared and got this guilt thing going on about eating enough fruit. And again, it doesn't make them bad people, just a bad choice. And if you're writing books to people and they're following your calorie phobia or fruit phobia, then they're going to have problems as well. They're going to have the same problems you have. So my advice is take advice from really fit people who are doing the lifestyle you want to live. And, I think everyone's got something to offer. Definitely. I read books from anybody because I think there's always little gems around. When it comes to the important stuff, be selective, be discerning, be objective. So that's a whole new paradigm. We count calories, not because we're scared of getting too much, because you can't get too much fruit. We count calories so we get enough. Even if you're eating rice and beans and pasta, have you honestly ever seen anyone getting fat from eating steamed brown rice? No way. The reason why I stay away from the rice is I perform better on fruit. But if you put me in a prison cell, I'll be like, yep, steamed rice and broccoli, I'll have that. I like fruit because, boom, I just feel so much better. I can perform better, I think better. Last night I ran a 17:58 5K, fastest time of my life. I've been a vegan since April 2001. People said my toes would fall off back then. This is almost 10 years ago. And last night I ran the fastest 5K of my life. So, you know, fruit's just where it's at, but nobody gets fat from eating rice pasta. It's what the crap they put on it. It's the chickens they put on the rice. It's the cream they put on the rice. It's the oil they put with it. You know, it's the fried shit they have with it. It's the ice cream they have after it. You know, that's what makes people fat. You know, it's not the carbohydrates. Most of the calories in ice cream come from fat, or a large percent do, if not all, the majority of. Same with cheesy meat lovers pizza. People don't get fat from the wheat and the tomato sauce. They get fat from the fat. The fat you eat is the fat you wear. Simple as that. So I'll leave it with a saying, the fat you eat is the fat you wear, the carbs you eat is the glycogen you get to live with. And count your calories so you get enough carbs, so you got enough glycogen so you can live how you really want to live. Because you deserve it, your family deserves it, your friends deserve it, your community deserves it. Everyone deserves your best versus being a burden on yourself, a burden on your family, a burden on your community, a burden on society because you're so undercarbed, freaking out, just going nuts, yo-yoing up and down, saying stuff you regret. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Don't apologise, just think before you do stuff. You know what I mean? You should never have to apologise, just think critically what you're doing, and when you're carved up, you can do that. You can do things that you don't regret. Thanks for watching.